Inside Boyhood Child stars post-Hollywood life as a fireman in the middle of nowhere. And what could coax him back into the spotlight? Ellar Coltrane, who achieved a brief blaze of celebrity as the child star of Boyhood and then vanished from the spotlight, has pulled back the curtain on his new life. Richard Linklater's experimental film followed the upbringing of Coltrane's character Mason, whose parents were played by Patricia Arquette and Ethan Hawke. The picture was shot at intervals from 2002 through 2013, allowing the cast to age naturally with their characters, with Coltrane filming from ages 7 to 19. Upon the film's release in 2014, Coltrane was showered with acclaim, but found fame to be an overwhelming experience he didn't particularly enjoy, via Variety.
Fruit flies taking over your kitchen? This discreet plug-in trap uses light to attract flying insects, then captures them on a replaceable adhesive cartridge, without noisy zapping or messy sprays. Want to get the best verified deal and see full details? Visit grabdeal.us/one right now.
He turned his back on Hollywood and retreated to the middle of nowhere in New Mexico, where he volunteers as a fireman and has entered training as a paramedic. Now aged 30, he has revealed his out-of-the-way method of scratching his lingering artistic itch, and what sort of project might prompt his return to showbiz. "I live in the middle of nowhere, and I'm pretty far away from film," Coltrane shared in his new interview. "Really, in my life, I've moved on." The Austin native explained that he performs manual labor, and I'm a volunteer firefighter, and I'm working on my EMT license right now. However, he does dabble in small-time cinema, having integrated himself in the independent film community of El Paso, Texas, which he raved was wonderful. Coltrane recently played Lee Harvey Oswald in a small picture shot in Mexico City called El Fantasma, in addition to which he has acted in a couple of short films. Gushing about the El Paso art scene, he said, "I'm really inspired by the energy there and what my friends are up to. It reminds me of Austin 20 years ago." He himself emerged from an artistic family in Austin, born to a musician father and a mother who conducted horse therapy for autism. When he was 6, 3 years before his parents divorced, he was cast as the lead in Boyhood, with the director's daughter Lorelei Linklater playing his sister. Coltrane revealed that the shooting of the picture ran alongside his real-life upbringing in a pretty tumultuous household. Richard Linklater's experimental film followed the upbringing of Coltrane's character Mason Left, whose parents were played by Patricia Arquette and Ethan Hawke, right. Coltrane is pictured with Arquette, who won an Oscar for her performance as his mother Olivia, and the director's daughter Lorelei Linklater, who played Mason's sister Samantha. As a result, the scenes involving his character's abusive alcoholic stepfather, Marco Perella, didn't seem shocking at all to me. That was just kind of how adults were. However, he did feel affected by a particularly explosive scene in which Perella's character throws a plate at the dinner table whilst drunk. I remember that moment, with the dinner plate, and just how viscerally scary that was, even though I knew it was acting, and everybody laughs in between takes. There was a lot that was done, probably for our benefit, for the kids to try to break up the tension, and I think we didn't do very many takes of that, said Coltrane. Coltrane, who expressed a preference for gender-neutral pronouns in 2021 before later returning to he/him, described himself during his filming years as an odd kid, who didn't have a lot of friends my own age, even in my personal life. Just being homeschooled and being raised by the arts community in Austin. He eventually grew into a really wild teenager who at one point at the age of 17 arrived for work on the Boyhood very high on marijuana, which made him extremely anxious and self-conscious, and that scene is terrible. Needless to say, that scene did not make it into the final cut. I never did that again. Although he never had misgivings about being a child actor during the wonderful shoot of the movie, he did feel discomfiture about the publicity he was subjected to when the film finally released shortly before his 20th birthday. Coltrane explained that, "When I became famous and was going around doing a million Q&As and parties, I didn't enjoy that part so much." In the wake of the movie's debut, Coltrane's family life also entered the limelight, when the Daily Mail revealed his grandmother was a hippie living off-grid in a parked, rusting school bus in rural Texas with 2 cats, 5 dogs, and 17 chickens. Coltrane Wright attended an event last month for the Austin Film Society, where he participated in a panel on Boyhood with, from left, Hawke, Linklater, and Arquette. She claimed at the time that she had heard her grandson was happy being famous, although she confessed they had not spoken in 3 years. In his new interview, Coltrane took the view that he did pretty well coping with notoriety and coming out the other side not too damaged, but it's a lot. He reflected, "A big saving grace for me in that context of being a child actor," and later interacting with the Harry Potter kids and other people who starred in a long-term project or started a career around the same time. For them, there was something released to the world also in childhood. Coltrane was grateful he didn't have to experience that, in the sense that he was an adult by the time Boyhood released and exposed him to public scrutiny. "It allowed me to avoid being a child star, which is really difficult for a lot of people. I have a lot of compassion for people who really struggle with fame early in life." Linklater recently remarked that Coltrane grew up to be this sensitive poet guy. He's a poet living in New Mexico now, via The Hollywood Reporter. The film was going to go where he went, to a large degree. "It was kind of a mix of autobiography for me, but then also developmentally for him." Although Coltrane has traded in showbiz for a private life in the Southwest, he shared that he has been missing being on set after interacting with film people again at an event he attended last month for the Austin Film Society, where he participated in a Boyhood panel with Hawke, Arquette, and Linklater. "I do very well collaborating with a director who has a passion project. When I can get into that headspace with an artist and work closely with them to figure out how I can express what they're trying to express, I think I can do really good work," he noted. "But just showing up on a big set with a million producers as an actor, I don't know how to do that. I was never really trained as an actor. I was trained by Richard and Ethan as a collaborator and part of the machine of the film," he observed. "So I'm hoping for more small, independent passion projects that I can be a part of because I have a lot to offer," Coltrane pitched himself.